What's up, guys? It's your boy Zawolki, back out with some more of the Chris Watts videos. But this one is definitely one that a lot of you guys have been asking me for. I wanted to give it a few days just because the YouTube channel that posted it, they are a smaller YouTube channel, and I wanted them to get their views, of course. But this Timeless Mysteries channel, which looks fairly new, has apparently one of the greatest videos, and we're going to watch it. Which is why did Chris and Nichole, or what did Chris and Nichole discover that night on the 111-minute phone call? Now, I've always thought about this. They said, Nichole and Chris said it was phone S-E-X, which again, I highly doubt that's what it was. That's a lot of work, very long, and you can't tell me that it was a 111-minute phone call of that, just that. So, you guys have told me that I need to watch this, so we're going to watch it. But what I'd like to ask from you is I want all of you guys that are watching right now, go to their YouTube channel and get them to 5,000 subscribers. Do it. Do it right now. See how fast we can get them up there to help them out. With that being said, if you guys could do me a solid favor and subscribe to the YouTube channel by hitting that wiper icon down at the bottom right that says subscribe, then hit the bell icon next to it so when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video, and then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you so very much for the love and support. And the last week that I've been posting, I've been dragging because of COVID and so forth like that, so bear with me while we watch all these videos and so forth. We're gonna stop in between because I don't want to talk while they're talking and kind of commentate, correlate, and so forth like that. But again, like I said, go over to Timeless Mysteries, subscribe to them, watch the stuff that they have on there, give them some love, and with that being said, let's get into the video.
To the Chris Watts case, one chilling question haunts my every thought. What did Chris and Nichole
Is this Morgan Freeman?
discuss during their 111-minute phone call on the night Shannon was murdered? How did their relationship ignite so rapidly, spiraling into a dark and destructive force that led to one of the most horrific family murders in recent history? Their romance wasn't just fleeting, it was intense and all-consuming. The web of text messages, call logs, and Nichole's revealing Google searches are proof of a connection that may have fueled their deadly descent into betrayal and murder, from which there would be no return. I know the police let her go, but could Nichole Kessinger have played active role in these heinous murders? Welcome to Timeless Mysteries,
give them some love.
where we discuss the impossible.
What good video.
Make sure to like and subscribe today. I need your support. Become a member today, or purchase a sticker to leave in the comments section.
Go give them some love, guys.
In this episode, I share with you a detailed analysis of their communications. With these details, we'll paint a disturbing picture of a relationship far more deeply entangled than mere infidelity. Stay with me as we explore the key moments and the psychological dynamics that may have contributed to these tragic events. Chris Watts and Nichole Kessinger first crossed paths at Anadarko Petroleum, where their professional relationship quickly evolved into something more sinister. From their early interactions to their secretive plans for a future together, let's trace the timeline of their affair and identify the emotional bonds that tied them.
Let's do that.
The first email from Kessinger to Watts was sent.
I've said this on multiple occasions. There are people that watch some videos that don't watch all the videos on my channel, but I think these emails were a ruse to make it look like they started talking here instead of before, just to kind of shorten up their timeline for June or May to June rather than that whole year. It's just my predicament, or not my predicament, just my personal thought. Let me know what you guys think about these emails. Was it a ruse, or not a ruse, but like a planned piece of evidence to make it look like they knew each other smaller than longer? Let me know.
On the afternoon of June 5th, and it included other colleagues from the Anadarko Petroleum office in Platteville, Colorado. This email exchange was about fixing a gas meter Chris had taken to Nichole. The spark was subtle at first, hidden within the mundane hellos and quick glances, and by end of June, a deep passion began to stir and Chris and Nichole's relationship progressed exponentially. By July, they were no longer hiding their feelings.
They didn't even
Their
show
text
it or
messages
hide it
and
anymore.
phone calls reveal a lot about the dynamics of their relationship. Most of the messages from Chris reassured Nichole of a future together. On the other hand, Nichole's messages, such "I want to be a part of it," "being in your life is something I crave," shows her deep
She
emotional.
would spell her name weirdly all the time. Nichole with an E, without an E, Nikki, like Nicole Lee Miller, like she just changed it all the time.
Investment. These communications highlight their growing closeness and the emotional charge leading up to the murders. One day, Nichole talked about meeting up after Chris returned from a trip with Shanann to San Diego from June 22nd to the 26th, 2018. After he returned home, Chris and Nichole met at a park, Colorado. It was there, in the privacy of a public park, far from Chris's home, that they shared their first kiss. This kiss marked the beginning of their
And he
physical
was hooked, he
relationship.
said.
As they became closer, and they enjoyed both the days and the nights together. They were inseparable. Their first official date was to be a movie at the Orchard off of 144th. But the movie
Same kind of date that he had with Shanann. But he was underdressed and she was dressed beautifully, he said. But yet he takes her to the same thing. Be creative, dude. Do something else. Well, you can't because you're in prison. Ha.
was sold out. So instead, they spent 2 hours walking and talking, completely captivated by each other. The adventure didn't stop there.
Sweet empanada.
They also visited the Shelby Car Museum in Boulder, went to a drag race at Bandamere Speedway, and went camping in the Sand Dunes National Park, a trip Chris had always wanted to take. Chris stayed at Nichole's house almost every night. His wife and daughters were in North Carolina. He went home after work to work out, eat dinner, and then would go over to Nichole's house. Nichole wanted to be intimate all the time, and Chris was more than happy to oblige. Nichole asked him if he had ever strayed away before, and he told her no. He told Nichole that it felt like she had a lead on him, and she was able to tug him away from Shanann. This made Nichole happy to hear. This newfound freedom and acceptance was intoxicating for Chris,
Like a
pulling him
drug.
further away from his family and deeper into his affair with Nichole. In a revealing police interview, Chris disclosed key details about his affair with Nichole. Essay Coder asked Chris if he had any affairs with other people, to which he replied that he only had an affair with Nichole. He mentioned meeting her around June 1st, 2018, at work when he took a gas meter to her for fixing. After that, they ran into each other a few times in the office and chatted about
Yeah,
work.
she was Googling him a year before.
Around the 4th time meeting, Chris mentioned we moved from North Carolina, prompting Nichole to ask what he meant by we. That's when Chris showed her a picture of his daughters, and Nichole saw a picture of Shanann on his lock screen. Nichole knew he was married and had children, despite later claiming she didn't know he was married. This contradiction only deepens the mystery of their
But she's
relationship.
innocent.
Why hide this detail from the police? As their affair intensified, Chris and Nichole began to envision a future together, far removed from the responsibilities of Chris's current family. They began making plans for a future together. They talked about traveling, shared dreams of moving away, and discussed potential places they could live together. Chris also mentioned that he didn't wear his wedding ring at work, claiming it was being resized
It
because
fell
it was
off.
too big after he lost weight. This detail might have given Nichole the impression that he wasn't committed to his marriage, making their imagined future together seem more attainable and
They were
real.
just lusting over each other.
But how did this affair influence Chris's mindset and drive his actions leading up to the murders? The public has speculated endlessly about Nichole's role in the murders. Some believe she could have influenced Chris's decisions, while others think she might have been a participant. In his February 18
D, all the above.
interview, Chris also mentioned that Nichole had bipolar disorder and that he had trouble dealing with these hypomanic episodes. A lot of stress and
But
unpredictability
look at
to
this.
their relationship.
I've seen this right here on his neck, and then on his lip. It's like it got busted or something. Like somebody was pushing it. I still think it's Bella. Bella fought.
Dealing with intense
I still don't know how Shanann didn't fight because he sat there and said, "Well, she just took it." Like, who's gonna take it? Like, I think she was honestly like subdued, or he honestly gave her another drug, the oxycodone, to make her feel upset or whatever, and like unwell, and her guard was down, because you couldn't tell me that woman was not going to fight for her life. Bella would said, or he said, that she fought very hard, because she bit her tongue. So those marks possibly were from Bella, but I think somehow, some way, he subdued, not the, what did he say, the sexual way, or the intimate way, where they had intimacy. If you didn't touch her for how long, what makes you think you're going to touch her at that moment when you were so far up Nichole Kessinger's butt? I just think he or she, don't know. There's no chloroform. They did drug test on her body, and people are like, "Oh, she was drinking." It was because of decomposition. I've looked at the autopsy reports. It was due to, and one of my buddies is a mortician, and he said he looked at it himself. He's like, "Yeah, that's due to decomposition. She did not ingest alcohol because, one, she was pregnant, and two, she said she didn't drink very much." So put that to bed.
Emotional highs and lows, especially in a secret affair, likely made Chris feel even more overwhelmed and desperate. This added tension worsened his already fragile state of mind.
Mom didn't help.
According to experts, such intense emotional involvement can significantly impact decision-making, especially in individuals with narcissistic traits like Chris.
And Nichole.
Chris exhibited traits of a covert narcissist, outwardly humble but internally self-important and lacking empathy. Nichole, meanwhile, seemed to be seeking validation and excitement. Chris and Nichole's personalities created a perfect storm. Chris's desire for a new life and Nichole's need for emotional connection,
Exciting at first, but ends in disaster,
drove them closer, intensifying their relationship and setting the stage for tragedy. There are some important critical questions that need to be addressed.
111-minute phone call.
What were Chris and Nichole discussing during their 111-minute call on the night of Shanann's murder?
Pre-planning.
Nichole claims she felt something was off about Chris that night, yet she conveniently cannot recall the details of this lengthy call. This convenient lie raises more questions. If Nichole felt uneasy about Chris, what was his behavior, and why wouldn't she alert the police if she thought he was going to hurt himself or someone else? Why did the call last so long? Was she really aware of his troubled state of mind? Was she trying to console him? Or was she giving Chris the ultimatum, her or Shannon? Furthermore, Nichole's Google searches leading up to and after the murders are particularly revealing. On July 24th, she said, "Man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife." On August 8th, she searched "marrying your mistress." Most notably, on August 4th...
Why would you Google that if you knew that they were separating?
She spent over 2 hours searching for wedding dresses, just 9 days before Chris killed his wife and daughters. On August 19th,
No coincidence.
just 4 days after Chris was arrested, Kessinger searched, "Did people hate Amber Frey?" Invoking the name of the woman who was having an affair with Scott Peterson, who murdered his wife, Lacey, and their unborn child in 2002. Given the situation, she may have been curious about her own fate. But what's even more peculiar are her queries about the book deal Frey obtained, along with Frey's net worth, suggesting that she was dreaming of financial success amidst the tragic death of Chris's pregnant wife and 2 young daughters. Furthermore, these searches suggest she was deeply invested in the idea of still having a future with Chris, raising still more questions about her potential influence over his actions. Additionally, on the morning of the murders, a neighbor reported seeing a truck matching the description of Nichole's outside the Watts home. Nichole's phone also pinged off a tower in Frederick, Colorado, where the Watts family home is located. Though not definitive, these details suggest she might have been closer to the scene than previously known.
But she wasn't there.
She could have been inside the house at the time of the murders, or perhaps immediately after. What's even more intriguing is the fact that Nichole didn't clock in to work that morning. Despite claiming she was at work on time, records show she didn't use her work badge to clock in. So she manually logged her arrival time, leaving more questions. Was she actually at work?
No.
Or did she show up late because she was with Chris? Does she have a valid alibi regarding her whereabouts during that critical time?
And the whole time that she was seeing Chris, the 2.5 months that she was seeing him, she called him every day, every morning, whatever. But the morning of the murders, she didn't call him until like, what was it, 11 or 12? Why? Because they were already talking together when they were with each other.
Chris's arrest, Nichole disappeared, and the questions remain: was Nichole trying to avoid the same public hatred that Amber Frey faced? Or is she avoiding more questions from law enforcement?
She's avoiding law. She don't care about the questions. She don't care about the fame that she would possibly get, which it would probably be bad fame. But she's looking out for herself from being caught by the law, is what it is.
The mystery of Nichole Kessinger's disappearance adds another twist to this already shocking story. Did she choose to vanish completely? Or was she granted immunity and forced into hiding by the government? These questions leave us wondering why this really happened and who was involved. Was there any legal culpability or obstruction of justice on Nichole's part? Chris mentioned he hasn't talked to Nichole since his arrest and hopes she hasn't written to him under a different
Jezebel.
alias. When he says this, I wonder, was this a predetermined plan to keep in contact?
Yes.
He also says he doesn't know where Nichole is or if she had to leave the state due to the publicity of the case.
She's still in Colorado.
But we do know that she deleted her social media, left her job, and moved away from the community. Despite her efforts to distance herself, her involvement in the case remains a subject of intense public interest. The lack of concrete answers fueling ongoing speculation. How has the public's perception of Nichole shaped her post-murder life? The relentless media attention and public judgment have undoubtedly left an indelible mark. The story of Nichole Kessinger leaves us with more questions than answers. Share your comments below.
Man.
Thank you for joining me today.
So it looks like this YouTube channel has got more of the videos on Chris Watts, which I can definitely look at. They did a very good job on a good amount of these cases, so I definitely would love to look into more of this. But I do want to get into this time line of the morning of the murders. Let's take a look at that. So this is not my detailed list here. This was from a Facebook page group. I don't want to say who it is, just because of privacy purposes. But if the person sees this video and would like to have the credit for this, I can definitely do so. I just want to let you guys know it is not mine. So the morning of the timeline of the 13th, Chris Watts made 3 unanswered calls to Cody. Okay. 6:31 text to Cody, "Where are you?" 6:32 Cody texts Watts, "Just got fuel in Kersey." Watts made another unanswered call to Cody. 6:33 Watts texts back, "Okay, I'm in survey. Where are you going first?" Like, it was very vague and not to the point. 6:33 Cody responds, "DPC state." Chris Watts responds as a thumbs up. Cody texts, "I need to call Chad and see if he plans on still stroking the 1029 out there to see if it still pumps up. If so, I'll have to meet him, or he will have to get the cannon plugs from Tony, person that he's working with." Watts responds, "Okay, let me know before I leave here." Cody responds or adds, "I think Chad may be headed out there today. Phone was breaking up pretty bad." 6:39 Watts makes an unanswered call to Chad. 6:41 Watts texts Chad, "You headed out to survey? I'm out here." Cody said something about pumping up the 1029. Troy claims Chris called him, but he declined the call. Interesting. Chad texts Watts, well, since you're out there, you want to fire it up. Have Cody bring his cables. Fire it up, possibly mean code something. All right, so Watts responds, okay, I will. Chad replied, I'll head that way in a bit. 6:53, Watts arrived at Survey 319 according to his GPS. So the whole time that he was texting or calling, he was in the car on his way there. There is no way you'll ever convince me those children were alive in the truck that morning. He would not have been making phone calls to coworkers knowing there was a chance that they would have heard the children in the background. True. Those precious babies were deceased before he ever left the house. The only thing that's unfortunate about, or that's I don't believe in that part, is we do see one little shadow walking. Somebody said it was the dog. I don't believe it was the dog because we would have the barking and stuff like that. But we see him bend down to pick him up. So I think one of them might have been gone before, and one was still alive. But again, Chris has not said anything, hasn't taken any credit pretty much, and so forth. But everyone wants to debate the shadow video. See, the video initially didn't show any shadow at all. After it had been passed around in YouTube community, it came out doctored, and somebody made real big bucks releasing the doctored shadow video. Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to figure out if we can watch. I'm gonna probably have to go back to Frankie Jr.'s video that I don't think it was on his, but I'm gonna have to definitely take a look at it and see the actual first version. Because there are apparently doctored videos, which I don't think I've ever seen, but again, I could be wrong. But I just thought it was very interesting that this time events in the morning when he was driving out there, and his code words and fire it up and all that stuff. Could it be code words or could it be completely something else? To the fact that it was either the fire stick code word, that they were going to plan on burning the Survey 319 down. That's why he grabbed the gas cans. I don't believe for a second that he was going to self-unalive himself because he wanted to be with Nichole. But he said that to detectives when they came to him in Wisconsin. That's what he said. But again, like this guy in this video that we just posted, the big question of the answered or the unanswered, or the big question that is unanswered is that 111-minute phone call. What were they doing at the Lazy Dog? Okay, having dinner, but the night before? Peculiar. And then all those Google searches and all so forth that we've looked at over time. But definitely a very great video to watch, a great YouTube channel. He has more stuff on there for the Chris Watts videos, which we can definitely look at some more. But I highly suggest you guys go over there, subscribe, comment, like, and share. Again, comment your thoughts on that 111-minute phone call. What exactly did they talk about? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Hit the like button for the obvious reasons of hopefully this will one day, all these YouTube channels, including myself, might make a difference. There have been YouTube channels in the past that have cracked cases and found evidence and so forth, and maybe this might be, who knows. Again, thank you guys for watching. Please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we'll see you guys in the next video.